I used to work the overnight shift at a motel off Route 17. It was the kind of place people only stopped at when they were too tired to keep driving. 12 rooms, one vending machine that barely worked, and a parking lot light that flickered like it was trying to warn you about something. Most nights were quiet. Too quiet, sometimes. The owner liked to say that quiet was good for business, but when you were sitting alone behind a front desk at 2:43 in the morning, listening to the ice machine hum through the wall, quiet can start to feel like a presence. That night started with rain. Not a storm, just a steady, cold rain that made the windows look black and turned the highway into a long strip of headlights and mist. Around midnight, a man came in wearing a gray coat with the hood pulled low over his face. He was maybe in his late 40s, thin, tired. He did not look at the candy by the register, or the rack of brochures, or the old television mounted in the corner. He looked straight at me and asked for room 6. That should have been the first strange thing. Nobody asked for a specific room at our motel. They asked how much. They asked if we had smoking rooms. They asked if the coffee was free. But he asked for room 6. I told him it was available. He paid in cash, signed the guest book with a name I could not read, and slid the pen back toward me without saying another word. Before he left, he looked over his shoulder at the dark hallway that led to the rooms and asked, "Does the phone in there still work?" I said, "Yes." He nodded, took the key, and walked out into the rain. For the next hour, nothing happened. I watched the security monitor. I checked people in, checked nobody out, and listened to the rain tapping against the roof. Then the desk phone rang. The motel phones had a specific sound, old, sharp, and too loud for the lobby. I picked it up and said the usual line, "Front desk." For a few seconds, there was only breathing. Then a man whispered, "Do not transfer any calls to this room." It was room 6. I asked if everything was okay. He did not answer the question. He just said, "If someone calls asking for me, tell them I never checked in." Then he hung up. I remember staring at the phone, waiting for it to ring again. It did not. At 1:18, headlights swept across the lobby windows. A black sedan pulled into the parking lot and stopped beside the vending machine. The car sat there with the engine running, windshield wipers moving back and forth, like a metronome. Nobody got out. I checked the monitor. The camera over the parking lot was grainy, but I could see the car clearly. Dark windows, no front plate, rain sliding over the hood. Then the phone rang again. This time, it was not one of the room lines. It was the outside line. I picked it up. A woman's voice said, "I need to speak with the man in room 6. My mouth went dry. I told her we did not have anyone checked into room 6. There was a pause. Then she said, very softly, "He always says that." The line clicked dead. When I looked back at the security monitor, the sedan was empty. The driver's door was open, swinging slightly in the rain. I stood up slowly. Behind the lobby, there was a narrow hallway that connected the front desk to the rooms. We usually kept the door locked, but that night it was open. I know I closed it. I am certain I closed it. From somewhere down the hall came 3 knocks. Not loud, not frantic, just 3 slow knocks. Then silence. I picked up the master key and the flashlight we kept under the desk. I did not want to go back there, but if something was happening to a guest, I had to check. The hallway smelled like wet carpet and old wood. The lights buzzed overhead. Room 4, room 5, then room 6. There was no sound coming from inside. I knocked once and said, "Front desk, is everything all right?" No answer. I was about to turn away when the phone inside the room started ringing. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Then it stopped. And from inside the room, a man whispered, "Do not answer it." I stepped back from the door so fast I almost dropped the flashlight. The voice was close, too close, like whoever said it had been standing directly on the other side of the door with their mouth against the wood. I asked him to open up. Nothing. Then the motel phone in the lobby started ringing again. I ran back to the desk, slipping once on the hallway carpet, and grabbed the receiver. The same woman was on the line. She said, "He is not alone in there." Then the call ended. That was when I called the police. While I waited, I watched the monitor. The door to room 6 was still closed. The black sedan was still there with the driver's door open. But every few minutes, the hallway camera glitched. For one frame, just one frame, I could see someone standing outside room 6. Not the man. Someone taller. Someone with their head lowered, like they were listening. The police arrived at 1:47. 2 officers checked the sedan first. There was no one inside. No registration, no wallet. Nothing but a wet black coat on the passenger seat. Then we went to room 6. The officer knocked. No answer. He used my master key. The room was empty. The bed had not been touched. The bathroom was dry. The window was locked from the inside. The only thing out of place was the phone. It was lying on the floor with the cord stretched tight, as if someone had dragged it toward the door. The officer looked at me like I had wasted his time, but then his partner called from the bathroom. On the mirror, written in the fog of someone's breath, were 4 words. "I told you no." The officers asked me if I had seen the man leave. I said, "No." They asked if there was another exit. There was not. They asked for the guest book. The name he had written was not a name at all. It was a sentence. "He found me again." The police took a report, but nothing ever came of it. The sedan was gone by morning. Room 6 was cleaned. The mirror was wiped. The owner told me not to scare off customers. I quit 2 days later. For years, I tried to convince myself there was an explanation. A prank. A runaway. A man hiding from someone dangerous. But last winter, I drove past that motel for the first time since I left. It was closed down. Windows boarded. Sign half fallen. Parking lot full of weeds. But as I slowed near the entrance, I saw one light on. Room 6. And through the rain on my windshield, I saw a man in a gray coat standing behind the curtain. He raised one hand. Then the motel sign flickered, and my phone rang.